This time on Woody's Garage. One thing is for sure, the Ugly Duckling is ugly.
Well, today I pulled the Honda Z50 out of the basement. It's been sitting there for a couple of years. I got it running and pretty much just put it away. Today I just checked the tires. It seems like they have some air in them. Lubed the chain, hitched up a gas line. I wasn't sure if that gas tank actually held gas or if it leaked. I put a little gas in it, seems to be holding. Don't recall much more about this bike because I put it all together I got it initially just as a frame. No wheels, no anything. Actually, no, it had tires and wheels on it. But pieced it together. That's a CRF50, I think. Exhaust on it. Does it run? I don't know. There's no key switch on it. Just see what happens. Gas is running. Choke. There's no air filter on it. Hardly any gas in it, so I gotta put a little more gas in it to make a fair assessment. Yeah, it was made with, that's an aftermarket carburetor. Yeah, but geez, good one to start on the first kick. Pretty good. I'm gonna put some more gas in it, see if it'll stay running, idling on its own. Yeah, it's real ugly. Look at that. You know, that's as far as I got with it. Pretty good. Gonna turn up the idle, I think. I'm gonna go for a ride around the park, around the neighborhood. Wrong. The tires are like totally flat. No air in them at all. I hope they hold. Nope, the back one's not gonna hold at all. Ooh. If I pull that apart, I'm gonna want to paint it and stuff. Yeah, this is some unexpected fun. Take the back wheel off and hope the tube is patchable. I don't want to buy a new tube. Yeah, the axle came right out, kind of a surprise. But as you see, I had to booger up this brake because these parts up here are unobtainable. And I had to make this one work, and this is how I made it work, and it does work, but I can't really remember how it goes. I'm a little chicken to take it apart, but gotta come off. I got it off just by loosening the cable, so it's all just hanging there. Might not be easy to put back on, but it's off. Yeah, we gotta pull this rim apart. It's a split rim. That's how you get to the tube. Yeah, it is a big deal. Yeah, it's pretty much like this. You really got to take off the sprocket. The sprocket is attached to this hub. The hub is attached with those 4 bolts there. And those go all the way through to the other side. brake hub, and then you can take those 4 bolts off on the outside there, and the rim is in 2 pieces. And yeah, like I said, I think if I'm going to take it down, I'm going to end up at least painting the rim. It'd be great to get new tires on it, but that's not going to happen. Got the safety tabs off. This should really have one more leg on it over here, but it doesn't really matter. The 14mm hub nuts came off easy enough. Well, and the bolts for the wheel came apart really easy, so I've probably been in here before. We got these 2 to take off, and those guys got a little PB blaster on them. So yeah, this thing next. There's no air in the tube, so I just hope I didn't rip the tube. Yeah, we got those off. You can see the tube's loose. Now, just because they split like this doesn't mean they're going to pop right out of there. But like I said, I kind of thought that maybe because everything's coming apart so easy, I had it apart before. So they're not falling out right now. I kind of hoped they would. Got to get my tire irons and see what I can do. You can kind of see this is a bitch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get the lip open. Like I just had it there, yeah, like this, and get some oil in there and let it sit, and then try to pop it off. Flipped it over, starting to work on this side. This is terrible. I love these wheels. I love Honda, but boy, this was the worst design going. What happens with the split rims is that water will get in here and slip between the 2 sides and end up in the tube, and it'll stay there forever. There's no way for it to come out, so it keeps rusting everything together. You know, it works its way out to the bead, it works its way in between these plates here. But we'll get it off. I'm just whining. Yeah, it just, I've been fighting on it. I've been pinching it with the workmate here, pinching the tire, trying to get it to break, and I just recalled that I think the last time I did it, I left the nuts and bolts in to hold the 2 together so that the rim stays in place. I'm going to try that. Yeah, we've got one part here that we're almost in there. You kind of take the tire iron, and instead of going this way, you turn it around and you start going this way. Try to push it off the rim. We're getting there, but boy, it is tough. Took the nuts and bolts out, thinking like maybe that was holding me up now, but so I got a bigger gap here. I've done these before, like I could set up the camera, but I may be here for an hour, you know, but it's kind of dramatic sometimes when it comes off. It'll just come flying off in your face, you know. Bad little tire. Laid it down like this, if you can see. Worked it around, and yay, side 1 off. That does not mean that side's going to be easy. And I do want to get it out because I do want to paint these up, etc. So, kind of curious to look at the tube, but not sure if I can get it out that easily. Maybe. Here's the tube. I don't see any rips. I was thinking probably since I wrote it in that air was low that it was going to rip the stem, but since it was bolted in nicely, and it doesn't look like it's ripped. But yeah, one patch there. Yeah, we'll attend to you later. There it is. Just as tough as the other side. But it's like the, you know, the rims don't look bad. These will clean up just fine. The ones I did for the 84 Z50 were much worse. Dirty tire. It'd be splendid to put on a new tire and a new tube right now, wouldn't it? Well, we found the leak right in the middle of an old patch. And look at it, looks like something got down in there and kind of worked back and forth until it made a hole. Now that could be something like a piece of rust from the rim or something like that. But that's really strange. I've never had one like that. Put a patch on a patch, and then I found this other patch. Where is it? I've never seen a patch this big in my life. Yeah, right there. Monster patch. Jesus, look at the size of that thing. Don't make patches like that anymore. It's so vulcanized right into the rubber too. It's a nice old tube. Yeah, the thing to do is to get off like this old scaly rust and stuff, because that will puncture. And it's reformed sort of like into metal when it dries. And you know, then you take the tire and go like that and it punches a hole. Not sure what we're gonna do with this. Patch on patch is weird. I don't know, we gotta use it though. Okay, we washed that off. We're still gonna have to chip some rust off of it. But where the patch was along the tire, which means there could be something inside the tire that was in the exact same place when they put the tire back on, or something. I don't know. I rubbed my hand around inside the tire. I did not feel anything. I'm gonna take a rag and go around on the inside, see if it snags on anything. So I did find something, but it was a piece of rubber. And I wish I had left it in place, because it seems like maybe there's extra glue when they put the tube back in, and the tube stuck itself to the tire. And then when the tire moved like this, the tube moved like this when there was no air in it, it pulled the scab that was off the middle of the patch and made the hole. That's the only thing I can think of, because there's nothing else in here. So I did a search online and I found an answer I liked. It's like, can you put a patch on a patch? And they said sometimes there's nothing else you can do, because the old patch, you're not going to be able to get that off. So the best thing to do is rough it up. I roughed it up with a file, pretty coarse file, round file too. And then I took this guy, have this on a popsicle stick so it works a little better. And then you put the vulcanizing rubber cement on and you leave it for 10 minutes. And then you put the patch on, and well, I guess we'll see what happens. Get the wire brush in these wheels. This is an old barbecue brush. These things work great. You find these like on sale at the end of the season at Walmart for like 50 cents a buck. Just pick up 2 or 3 of them or something. But you see the difference already from that to that. I did a phase 1 on these guys. That guy down there. This guy up here. And what we got is, you can see, like, you know, kids over the years just like blopped some, I want it blue now, and then, you know, probably didn't take the tire off or anything and just laid the blue on and red and then back to silver. So it's all like, you know, kind of layered. So I think tomorrow I'm going to take them outside and take the orbital round sander and do them out. Not too much, you know. I've actually done these wheels and they look like this when you start, and after you paint them up, they look great. So, you know, I took the wire wheel over there and just did the edges here. Yeah, it looks like hell, but when it's painted you won't think so. And I'll use, I think on the back, I have this black called rust converter paint. Is it holding there? I don't know. Look at it, it's a Nitto tube and Nitto tires. So this is possibly the original tube, which would now be, let's see, 30, 50, about 55 years old. You're not too good at math. So bike's like a 1970. It's feeling squishy. But I know I tested this, and the patch over the patches is working. Maybe it's leaking someplace else. I don't know. I'm done for today. Goodbye. Well, it's next morning, and tube held up just fine. Seems to be. I'm going to put in some slime, though, anyway. Just a dollop or so. Maybe a, let's say, a third of a cup, maybe Maybe, probably less than that, maybe a quarter of a cup. Yeah, I'll clean up the sprocket too before I start sanding outside. It's a little too early in the morning for the neighbors. This is the side I actually had out, which is like all chewed up and stuff like that. Why didn't I have this side out? I don't know. Maybe there's a reason. But anyway, it also had a residual buildup of gunk around here, which will wear out a chain pretty quick, although the chain's already worn out. But we'll clean that off anyway, and that'll be ready. I'm going to hit this stem too with a little black paint so it doesn't look horrendous sticking out. Cheap paint. Well, I'm going to paint inside. The wind just came up a little too much. But this is where we are right now. Definitely more sanding, etc. They're not perfect, but I think it's going to work out pretty well. That's the first dusting. You know, I actually just thought, like, do I even have the wheel paint that I used on the last wheels? Oh boy, that's just primer here. The wheel paint doesn't look all that much different, to tell you the truth. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Yeah, we got our rust reformer, and we got the wheel paint. Well, I think we got a little too eager. That is the first coat of the wheel paint. Maybe I should have let things dry a little longer. See, it kind of pooled at the bottom down there. Huh. Yeah, that's what you get for wanting to hurry up, I guess. I sanded them down with the runs and that kind of crap. And there are lots of pits and stuff like that. I used different grades of sandpaper and steel wool. And then I gave them a light spray again. And yeah, you can still see the pits and stuff like that. But I think they look good enough. Just gotta, unfortunately, let them dry for another day. So this patch was lifting a little bit too. Actually, the other side was, I clamped that down and this side pulled up. So we did the same thing. It's still a little sticky there, but that should hold. And this time I got some slime into it. I think there was probably a chunk in the slime bottle that was blocking the way I got inside the valve here. And it cleared, so I was able to get some slime in it. So, but considering this is tacky, I'm not going to put the tube back in yet because I don't want it to stick to the tire. Yeah, wait. So I have this old Z50 carburetor, and I remember I bought this on eBay. I was looking for something else for the Z50, but it came up really cheap. I got it like for 10 bucks or something like that, and these things go for a lot of money. And I've been working on it now for a couple hours, and it still looks really filthy. But we're making progress on it, and I think it's going to be good. I do. I wasn't even sure if this was a legit Z50 carburetor, but it appears to be. So I have the top too, which is always lost. So we're trying to clean it up with some gas and stuff. Someone spray painted it black. They spray painted it inside. Inside the carburetor black. Yeah, that'll make it better. It's starting to look more like a wheel. Gotta put on the sprocket. Right about there. All for a friggin' flat tire, right? Yeah, I prematurely put it together. It's only been drying for a couple of hours. Was in the sun. Hit it with some water too. I used to work with a painting guy at a Ford dealership when I was in high school, and I did stuff like change the oil and mufflers and then all the lousy shit they didn't want to do. And there's a body shop, and the guy there actually painted my Triumph, so I did him some favors of helping him with the car sometimes. And what he would do when he painted a car was almost immediately after it was done painting, he hit it with a little bit of water, like a mist of water, very light mist, just so it kind of coated it and kind of beat it up on it. And he said it made it cure much faster. So I do that, and it seems to kind of be true. He was good. Next day we got some air in it, tightened everything down, sprocket on. Looks good. I have no idea why I had it on the other way. Alright, the back wheel's on without any problems at all. We cleaned up the chain, wiped it off basically. It's pretty old and worn out. But, you know, it works great. No complaints from that. The brakes work. I think we're ready to take it out for a ride like we're trying to do. We got 10 pounds of pressure in the rear tire. I can't remember exactly what these require. It's probably about right. It would depend on conditions too, obviously. Yeah, so I think the next thing, we're going to see how it runs. We're going to see if we can get this aftermarket carburetor. Let's have a look. It's nice, new, and shiny, but I had a hell of a time getting the cable right. I had to cut away, I think, some of the sheathing to get it to idle correctly because it was too tight. And then I added that piece. I'm not even looking at this, the camera is. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I added that piece so it would curve a little bit, but you can see it slams right into the pipe up there, which I didn't like, and I put a piece of tape around it to hold it in place. But, I mean, it does work. The performance is kind of shitty. I don't know, but you go and switch carburetors and you're dealing with shitty again. I'm not sure. We're going to see what we can get. I mean, there's really only one thing you can adjust, and that's right there. It's a fuel air mixture. Yeah, let's get these cables up and out of the way. I have no ignition system on it. I found a key that I bought. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I bought this key and switch quite a while ago. What I found out with my CT70s is that they changed the keys like as time went on, and the color code would change depending on the wiring harness that you have. And if this wiring harness, these colors don't match up to what you're plugging into, it's probably the wrong switch. And here's what I would plug into. Although the coupler is missing on this end, but it does have the leads, and the colors aren't exactly the same. But right now, I have no way to turn this thing off. I have to stall it or pull the plug wire in order to turn it off. So I would like to, even if I can just utilize a couple of these wires, have a switch to ground it out to turn it off. So we're going to work on that too, but obviously we got to get it running right first.